So Dominaria came out last week.
How was it?
The pre-release was nice, but the commander stuff is still coming up.
It's only 2 decks this time.
Yes, not the beast of an animal that we've had with other commander
With the
releases.
4, like, Capenna.
I think there was 5 with Capenna.
Oh, yeah, there was.
Oh my lord, don't get me started on that. Anyway, this week we were talking about the 2 commander decks from Dominaria United, Legends Legacy and Painbow.
I love how the Painbow is the actual name given it to by Wizards.
I'm your host Isaiah,
And I'm Chris.
and this is Locked Loot.
We do not plunge headlong into folly on the orders of a single madman. He's got nukes.
You're the last boots on the ground.
Position standby for defensive fire.
Jedi. Like my father before me. Ding! Vex on the field.
Attention on deck. This channel is now under military control.
All right, yeah. So there's 2 commander decks. So we're not just going to go through them and like blow through them and not talk about them. What we're going to do is we're going to go through the cards that are in the deck, kind of talk about how it is out of the box.
Yep.
And then what you can do to them to actually make them a playable commander deck.
Exactly.
Okay. So Dominaria United, Legends Legacy. Okay, let's talk about pricing. So tabletop, MTG Goldfish currently has them at $174.59 for the cards in the deck. That's a good price point. Really.
Yeah,
like,
it really is.
For picking up cards. They're $40, $45 decks now, I think.
Yeah.
So okay, let's start going through it. The commander is of course Diata, Binder of Wills.
+2 up to 1 target legendary creature gains Vigilance, Lifelink, Indestructible until your end of turn.
-3, reveal the top 4 cards of your library, put any number of legendary cards from among them into your hand and the rest into the graveyard. Create a treasure token for each card put into the graveyard this way.
And -11, gain control of all non-land permanents until end of turn. Untap them, they gain haste until end of turn.
That is a beast of an alt.
It is, but
It'll never go off.
yeah, it'll take 4 turns to get it.
4 turns, assuming you never hit her.
Yeah.
And everybody's gonna be hitting her because, you know, there's no way you let this card stay standing on the field.
Mm-hmm.
It comes out and you just butcher it as quickly as you can.
Yeah.
And then, okay, creatures. Let's just run through the creatures real quick. Anafenza Kintry Spirit.
Ashling the Pilgrim.
Alicia Who Smiles at Death.
Captain Lannery Storm.
Thorana, Liberator of Malakir.
Krenko, Kentry Kingpin.
Moira, Urborg Haunt.
The Peregrine Dynamo.
Varric, Warped Singir.
Belbaraka, Spectral Sergeant.
Okay, this isn't working.
No.
Okay. Forget the list.
Yeah.
We're not going through the list of the deck. Let's talk about notable reprints here. Ashling the Pilgrim.
Yep.
Interesting ability on it. I wish I saw more of her.
Odric, Lunar Marshal.
Lunarch
Marshal.
Lunarch Marshal. Atali, Primal Storm. We see him in like every deck, but it's got a really good ability.
Mm-hmm.
Sorceries, notable reprints. Faithless Looting. They didn't put the bad art in there. I'm disappointed.
I mean, you mean the terribly good art, right?
Yeah, the terribly good art. Primeval's Glorious Rebirth. As far as artifacts go, the notable reprints I would like to bring up are simply the monuments, as Oketra's monument, Bantu's monument, and another monument, Hazaret's monument.
Mm-hmm.
Day of Destiny, and of course from lands, notable reprints are the
Bajuka Bog.
Well, I'm glad we're getting another one of those, but we see the lot in Shizo Death Storehouse.
Yeah, that's an old one.
Old one with an old ability. Interesting to see it come up again.
Yeah.
Especially when, you think that would come up when we're on, Kamigawa?
Yeah.
Not when we're on Dominaria?
Exactly.
Okay. As far as new cards go, the Peregrine, we're just going to go through these real quick. The Peregrine Dynamo. So this has a really strong ability. Haste, 1/5, 3 mana, legendary artifact creature, construct. Pay 1, tap it, copy target activated or triggered ability you control from another legendary source that is not a commander. You may choose new targets for the copy.
Interesting.
Did you know this goes infinite with Teferi Who Slows the Sunset? For infinite mana? So what Teferi's ability does is you +1, you can untap a creature, an artifact, and a land.
Mm-hmm.
So you name this as the creature, assuming you have like a arcane signet or a soul ring or something. You name that as the artifact, and then another land. And so what happens is you trip that ability, you copy it with this, untap this, the artifact, and the land, and then before the one that's the original one on the stack fully resolves, you copy it again
Mm-hmm.
for infinite mana. So there's already some combos that you can see with this, and
Right.
it's a good combo piece. There's a reason why it's going to be a decent. But the other new creature is Varric Warped Singir. Flying Death Touch Lifelink. Whenever you activate an ability that isn't a mana ability, if life was paid to activate it, you may pay that much life again. Copy that ability. Choose new targets. I mean, if you're paying life for abilities, it's really nice to be able to copy those abilities.
Yeah.
So I think Aristocrat's just got a very strong piece to it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And then any other new creatures? Not really. Instant sorceries? Not really. Nothing interesting. As far as artifacts go, we have the Reaver Cleaver.
We have the Reaver Cleaver. Go ahead.
Equipped creature gets +1/+1, has trample. Whenever this creature deals combat damage to a player or planeswalker, create that many treasure tokens. Equip 3 mana cost legendary artifact.
And the big one, Gerard's Hourglass Pendant.
Yeah, okay. So can I spend a moment on this? Gerard's Hourglass Pendant. Flash. If a player would begin an extra turn, that player skips that turn instead. Pay 4, exile it, tap it, exile it, return to the battlefield tapped, all artifact creature enchantments put into your graveyard that were put there from the battlefield this turn. That's not the interesting ability. The interesting ability is beginning extra turn, they skip it.
Yeah.
With Flash. Now, people look at this, like some people who play Commander look at this and go, it's not very, it lets you skip, makes your opponent skip extra turns. We have an Ugin's Nexus for that. No. This is a surprise piece.
Yeah.
This is you're going to cast your spell. You're going to cast Expropriate. You're going to cast Temporal Manipulation. You're going to burn the rest of your mana for the turn.
Mm-hmm.
Because you know your shield, you can put shields down for the next turn because you're going to just untap everything immediately.
Yeah.
And then end step flash this thing in.
Oh, yeah. It's like, yeah.
It is so... It's a good card. Personally, I would love... I could see this in like 9 to 10 decks. It shuts down so many high-powered decks.
Yeah.
Just because it's like, yeah, no. A Narset decks, you flash this in at end step, this thing, they're not taking those extra turns.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that you do it and you can do it at their end step is what makes this so strong.
It's because it has Flash.
Yeah. Normal spells that we have a bunch of other spells that do that ability. But they're not strong because you can't hit at instant speed.
Yeah.
Now, what does the deck want to do? This was a hard one. We spent some time looking at this.
We spent some time looking at this and we could not figure it out. And it's a legendary beatdown deck.
Yeah, we look at it and I'm like, okay, none of the cards really interact well other than the fact that they're all legendaries.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, it's a legendary beatdown deck.
Yeah.
Which is fine. Legendary beatdown can be played.
Mm-hmm. But you have to have synergies.
Yeah, you have to have synergies to work. I would actually recommend rebuilding this as a Mardu Voltron beatdown deck. So replace the Diata Binder of the Wills, throw in their 99 if you want, and replace her with Zergo Helm Smasher.
Oh yeah.
Or some other big creature that lets you pummel everybody's face.
Yeah.
Or pair of creatures. Maybe you go partners.
That'd be cool.
Okay. But things you put in there are just artifacts. It already has a decent amount of like artifacts.
It already has really good equipments in there.
Yeah, you're like, okay, you've got Blackblade Reforged, you've got the Reaver Cleaver, you've got
Sword of the Chosen. Hero's Blade.
Yeah. So what you want to swap in there is you just want to swap in Sword of the Animist,
Godsend.
Fun fact, those are both legendaries too.
Yeah.
So if you want to keep that legendary theme, there's a ton of legendary artifacts out there to utilize this. Or you just go artifacts. You put in the sword cycle if you have them.
Lux on Warhammer.
Yeah. Okay.
You could make this just
It's a Voltron deck.
Yeah, you could.
And I'm not saying like that's how you have to build it. You don't need the sword cycle to make a good Voltron deck. I built good Voltron decks with cheap artifacts.
Yeah.
Or the 25 Sword of the Animus that I have laying around from the time that there were 20 cents. And I'm like, this is a really good card. I need 50 of these. Oh, joke's on them. They're $5 now. Same with Cryptolith, right? Everyone's like, Cryptolith, right, is so bad back during Shadows over Innistrad. I'm like, this is amazing. Give me 20 of these. They're $12 cards now.
Yep, that's ridiculous.
Okay.
Another option is a storm deck. You can make this a storm deck very easily.
Oh yeah. Well, it's not really in the colors for Storm.
Oh wait, no, that was the other one.
You kind of go with. I mean, Chaos works. There's so many routes because it's not a good deck because it has no theme to it other than legendary.
Yeah.
No sub theme. Other than legendary is its theme and it has no sub theme. It kind of you're open to interpretation.
Yeah.
It's like
I wonder if this deck is kind of like the toolbox from Capenna.
yeah, it kind of feels like a toolbox because I'm like looking at these, you're like, yeah, okay, so you have a bunch of legendaries, like if you want to build other commander decks and good cards overall, you got Zapalta, Atali, Odric, you've got wear and tear, you got a bunch of different like removal spells.
Mhm.
Kind of feels like a toolbox to me.
Yeah.
Which is fine. Like I think precons work as toolboxes for new players. I think if they wanted to build toolbox decks though, they should just release a commander's toolbox.
Yeah.
And you could easily do a commander's toolbox, Wizards. Come on. We remember back during MTG 14-15 Origins when they had like deck building toolboxes where it's like they come with lands, packs, and like uncommons and commons. Just do that for commander. Be like, okay, yeah, it's gonna come with 3 random packs from the last few sets, commander staples, a few legendaries, and a bunch of lands.
Mhm.
If you wanted to build toolboxes, build a toolbox.
Yeah.
Oh, maybe it comes with a random commander deck too, if you need to get rid of all the old ones that nobody wants. We're looking at you, enchantments. But there's a number of things that can be done with that, because it feels like a toolbox. Okay, the other one is not a toolbox.
It is definitely not a toolbox.
Haydenbow.
The best precon name that I've ever seen, or one of the best.
Talk about their commander.
So we have Jared Carthalion. I don't know how the hell to pronounce that name. Carthalion. He's a planeswalker, 5 color. His +1 is create a 3/3 cavalry creature token with trample that's all colors. -3, choose up to 2 target creatures. For each of them, put a number of 1/1 counters on it equal to the number of colors that it is. And it's -6, return target multicolored card from your graveyard to your hand. If that card is all colors, create a card and create 2 treasure tokens.
So yeah, so this deck is doing a very simple strat. It is about legendaries. Not legendaries, sorry.
5
about
colors.
5 colors. You're going for Warborg.
Mm-hmm.
The issue is it's not really built to handle that. Okay, notable reprints. Solemn Simulacrum, of course.
The Sad Robot.
Yep, our Sad Robot is back. They're in both decks. He's actually in both decks, so the Sad Robot is back.
Chromanticore.
We haven't seen him in a while. He's a good card. Okakachi, Vengeful Kami. And I think there was one more that was interesting. No, not as far as creatures. The reprinted creatures aren't very interesting. You got the Apexes, which is nice. Reprint spells. Nothing interesting. Your standard like destroy, standard removal, standard ramp for a 5 color deck. As far as artifacts goes, got a Coalition Relic. Maelstrom Nexus as far as enchantments goes. First spell you cast has Cascade.
That's gonna be a problem.
Yep. Okay, the lands. As far as lands, notable reprints is you have the Cascading Cataracts and the Crystal Quarry. They're smart enough to put those things in a 5 color deck because what they do is they filter to give you Warborg or any combination of colors that you need.
Yeah, so
they're filter lands.
Yeah,
they're really nice. Okay, so as far as new cards go, Jensen, Carthalion Exile. Whenever you cast a multicolored spell, scry 1. If that spell was all colors, create a 4/4 white angel creature token with flying and vigilance. Filter for Warborg.
The Philology Wayfarer is another notable reprint. It's all colors. This ability doesn't affect its color
Sorry,
identity.
that's a new card, not a reprint.
I know, that's what I said.
Oh. I think,
We were on new cards.
yes. We
Not-
know we're on new cards. We're somewhere today.
And then multicolored spells you cast have convoke.
This is such a weird card.
It is a very weird card.
So it's 2 and a green, so it can go in any deck, any green deck. But it is all colors. This ability doesn't affect color identity. What the heck, guys? Are you testing a mechanic for the next set?
I think they might be. If they do it though, it's going to break Commander.
Yeah, it's all colors. It counts as all colors. But it only has 1 green, so it only has that one color identity and that one for devotion. It's like, what are you doing with this thing? Other than the fact, I like that multicolored spells you control have convoke.
That is really good.
That is really good in this kind of deck. Because it's like, yeah, you get to convoke, and if you have multicolored creatures, they can tap for multiple colors to pay for it. Where was it? Okay. The Tiller engine. We should talk about that guy real quick. The Tiller engine. You want to take this one?
You go for it.
I don't have it up.
I don't either.
We're so prepared today.
Don't you just love it?
Go talk about Tiller engine. I don't have it up in front of me. Okay, Tiller engine. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, choose one. Untap that land. Tap target non-land permanent and opponent controls. Landfall. Yeah, that kind of ability on landfall. It's kind of funny. It'll be interesting to be used. I mean, personally, it's like it doesn't do that much. It lets you tap stuff down. It lets you untap your lands as they come in. It doesn't seem very interesting, but it's definitely going to have more uses than it appears.
Yeah, I think that'll actually be really useful to tap down like people's dual lands.
It's also $15 right now.
Yeah.
So okay, another new card we're going to talk about is the 2-headed Hellkite. Creature, dragon, 1 of all colors and 1. Flying menace haste. Whenever it attacks, draw 2 cards.
That's really good.
It's really good. Does not belong in this deck.
It does not.
I mean, it's Warborg. It's doing all the stuff that this deck wants to do, but it belongs in a dragon deck.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say.
And it's a huge piece for a dragon deck. It depends on the commander. So if you're running the Dragon as your commander, that thing is 5 mana, draw 2 cards with a 5/5 or 6/6 body or whatever it has on it. If you're running Morphon, it's 1 mana, draw 2 cards.
Yeah.
So it's definitely got stuff going for it. I'm trying to see. And then as far as new spells, was there any specific new spells? The Iridian Maelstrom. Board wipe.
Destroy each creature that isn't all colors.
Pretty simple. Warborg.
This is where the ability
This creature has all colors.
Yeah.
Because it won't be affected by this kind of thing. It's interesting that they did that. That they did I know we're still talking about that guy because I think they're testing a mechanic that's supposed to be the opposite of Devoid.
Yeah. Which is interesting.
Yeah. Okay. So we're gonna keep going. We're not gonna get bogged down on that. Arcane Signet, the Obsidian Obelisk is the new card.
Enters tapped. Add 1. Tap Obelisk. Tap it. Add 1 mana of any color. Use this to cast. Only multicolored, yeah.
Not good. Not good at all. Now, this deck is not strong.
Oh, it's not.
Not strong at all. When it looks like, yeah, it's doing a lot of stuff, but you're like, it doesn't work. You're trying to go for this multicolored theme. Your spells are all multicolored, but you're not utilizing. So when you're going to upgrade this, I would definitely a few things to do. Ditch Gerard as the commander.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm like, so many of this stuff is already legendary.
Mm-hmm.
Cycle it into a legendary deck. Throw Joda and the new Joda as a commander,
Mm-hmm.
so that your legendaries are all still you have legendary Cascade.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's already in that 5 colors.
Yeah.
So go for that legendary theme. Or ditch it for like a 5-color commander, any good 5-color commander. There's so many out there.
Oh, yeah.
Take your pick
Mm-hmm.
of a 5-color commander that works with the theme you want to go with.
Morphon would be really good in this deck.
No, it's not a tribal deck.
Oh,
The issue is Morphon requires tribes.
Oh, that's right.
But you can definitely go like partners. So
Oh,
you
yeah.
can get 5 colors out of partners.
Uh-huh.
5-color, just go for the 5-color theme. If you're going for this 5-color theme, you need to utilize it.
Yeah.
How you utilize it? Devotion.
Oh, yeah. That's what we're talking about. With devotion.
You throw gods in here. You're like, okay, so what do we take out? Okay, well, we're like, okay, well, what doesn't work? The apexes.
Mm-hmm.
The apexes are nice. They're 3 colors. Ditch them. Put some gods in.
Yeah.
Put some really good gods in. We're talking like Athreos and this is the only time I'd say this. Carmetra,
Mm-hmm.
the green-white one, because she lets you fetch up basics.
Yeah.
Well, not basics. Plains or forests. So it'll let you fetch up your lands.
Mm-hmm.
And then throw in like a Nyxborn altar, Nyx Shrine to Nyx, or whatever it is, the land. That lets Nykthos Shrine to Nyx.
There you go.
That lets you add mana equal to your devotion. You're going for that devotion here, is the thing. And you're trying to utilize that.
Mm-hmm.
As you're trying to get whatever colors you can to utilize that.
I think another good thing to do would be put stuff in that makes all your stuff indestructible.
Yeah.
There are a lot of board wipes in the Freecon.
Yeah. I mean, oddly enough, yeah, there is a lot of board wipes in here. You've got, what is it? Lava Lanch counts, I think.
Yep.
Iridian Maelstrom, Time Wipe, Merciless Eviction, Dune Blast. And we forgot to talk about Unite the Coalition.
Yeah. Unite the Coalition. Choose 5. You may choose the same mode more than once. Target permanent phases out. Target player draws a card. Exile target player's graveyard. Unite the Coalition deals 2 damage to any target. Or destroy target artifact or enchantment.
That's a very versatile card.
It is very versatile. And it's expensive.
It's expensive. It's mana. I don't think it does enough.
It doesn't do enough.
Needs some stronger abilities on it.
I mean, that's where this is good. You phase out 5 of your permanents, and then you board wipe.
Yeah,
you exile everything.
7 mana to do that.
I know.
That is a way late game play.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're going for the devotion with this deck, which means you're trying to play around that 5-color, the multicolor theme.
Mm-hmm.
There's a bunch of stuff out of like guilds, the Ravnica stuff that plays with multicolored. You're trying to play with multicolored. I feel like, and this deck at base just doesn't do it.
No.
I mean, I think this precon. I don't even know if this precon will run at all, because you're going to be bogged down trying to get all your colors to play your spells. I mean, they're smart. They put enough multicolored lands that'll help, but I'm still like, you're gonna struggle.
Once again, the more I look at this deck, I'm wondering if they just gave us a two toolbox commander decks.
I can see it. Another toolbox, which is disappointing.
It is kind of.
I don't want my precons to be toolboxes.
Yeah.
I'm fine if you're releasing 5 commander decks and 1's a toolbox,
like they did with Capenna.
Like they kind of did with Capenna. But this releasing both of your stuff as toolboxes is really annoying.
Yeah.
I know most people get precons to rebuild them, but don't do that with all your commander decks.
Yeah. There's some commander decks that are like really good.
Atraxa
was good, yeah.
Like, well, that entire year was killer.
Yeah.
And the year before was killer. I don't know what happened to Commander after that.
I don't know.
I'm like, because you had 2 killer years, because you had the experience counter year, and then you had the 4-color year.
Yeah.
Anyway, the commander precons have gone downhill.
Yep.
Where just start bringing out commander anthologies, guys.
Bring us powerhouse decks.
Yes, bring us powerhouse decks. Like, we want decks to build. We want to be able to build a deck. I'm going, this does not inspire me to build anything.
Oh.
These decks tell me, yeah, here's some fun stuff to build your commander collection and to take apart and make other decks.
Mhm.
That's all right.
Yeah, like you said, give us a toolbox if you're gonna do this.
Yeah, give us something as a toolbox. Don't give us this. This doesn't work.
Mm-hmm.
This is very much. I mean, there's good cards in here, but the cards that are good in there don't belong in here.
Yeah. Also, I just thought of this. They need to start making precons like they used to, where it was a really good deck and it only needed like 5 to 10 pieces to make it a really strong deck.
Yeah, like they're decent precons, and then you upgrade them.
Yeah.
And upgrading them actually matters.
Yeah.
Because it's like, to upgrade this, you would need to cycle out so much stuff.
The deck would be barely recognizable.
Like, before, you would need to take out 5 to 10 things, put in 5 to 10 things, and then work.
Yeah.
You do that with this, your theme will be better. It's not going to make the deck, like, competitive or viable or anything.
Yeah.
Especially in, like, today and age's commander format, where games are getting faster, decks are getting better, optimization's happening all the time. These kind of decks, these precons are decent. I think they'd be good for somebody just starting. They'd play them and be like, oh, I just learned to play commander, now I'm going to go make a deck.
Mm-hmm.
I have all the tools I need to make what deck I want.
Yeah.
Which is fine. That's not what we want, though. Like, as commander players who want to upgrade the decks, I mean, they got a decent enough value in them, but we'd have to pull out so much and replace so much. And you'll notice something we didn't do. We didn't touch the mana base.
Yeah.
There's a reason we didn't touch the mana base. Because if you wanted to talk about upgrades, you can upgrade the mana base in any way.
Yeah.
And you could spend an entire budget upgrading the mana base. What we're talking about putting in there isn't like super expensive stuff. We're talking like spend $20 to $30. Well, depending on the deck. These ones are probably 40 to 50. $50 put them in the deck, put the cards in the deck, upgrade them. You can't really do that with these decks unless you're going jank. Yeah. Which I could go full jank lord on this, and I would love to go full jank lord on one of these and be like, we're putting in this, we're putting in this, we're putting in this, we're putting in this. Took apart the entire deck, remake it in the eyes of jank.
Also, I'm gonna say this. I missed playing Commander back when it was a casual format, not an official competitive format.
See, and that's something that's interesting. Do you want to go on this tangent?
Why not?
Okay, so Commander has 2 formats. You have Commander is split into 2 formats. You have the standard 1 to 10 scaling. Mm-hmm. Everybody seems to think their deck is a 7 for some reason. I don't know why you think your deck is a 7. It is not a 7. It is not a 7. I'll tell you again. It is not a 7. It is not a 7. You okay? And everybody's like, it's a 7 because it's like, if as soon as you get up into 8 and 9 and 10, you're like thinking, I have a high powered deck. Mm-hmm. But any below that, you're thinking it's average. Mm-hmm. No. Your 7s are high powered. Yeah. You're playing with a high powered deck there. The commander curve for deck power is not.
It's exponential.
It's exponential. Your decks will get exponentially more powerful the more you go.
Yeah. 9
will be exponentially more powerful than an 8. Mm-hmm. And you see that as a 7. I'm going, okay, like commander, if you're playing commander, like everybody's bringing a decent made deck that's trying to win the game. Everyone is bringing a 6 to a 7. Mm-hmm. That is everyone's like, okay, everyone's thinking on a scale of 1 to 10 with 5 being average. That's not true. In ours, 6 to 7 is average. Mm-hmm. Is your average power deck. It's trying to win. It has strategies to win. It's not 8, 9 powerful. It's not CEDH and above, 10 and above powerful. Mm-hmm. But 5 and below is what we call Battle Cruiser.
Yeah.
I love Battle Cruiser.
Battle Cruiser is so much fun.
Which is essentially your stuff is, it doesn't have to be a bad deck. Mm. It's a deck that takes forever to do something.
Yeah.
You're running your high cost stuff. How we remember Commander where we're like, we can bring 7, 8, 9, 10 spells and cast them.
Yeah.
Battle Cruiser is still a fun Commander format.
It's so
In
much
fact,
fun.
if I ever get around to hosting a Commander tournament,
That's many battle cruisers.
it'll be a battle cruiser tournament. You are not bringing Commander decks. You are bringing battle cruiser decks.
That's actually what the Tribal Angels thing about it. It was a
Yeah,
battle cruiser.
It was
deck.
battle cruiser.
And that deck was so much fun to play.
And that's the thing. Battle cruiser is fun to play.
Because you can do weird or wacky shit.
And I think that's what they need to do. They need to like split the format and be like, okay, this format is Commander, this format is Battle Cruiser.
They need to split Commander even more than they already have. So we've got, as you said, we've got CEDH and EDH.
Yeah. And now we need Battle Cruiser EDH.
We need BCEDH.
BEDH, EDH, CEDH.
Oh.
Battle Cruiser EDH, EDH, Commander, competitive EDH. Again, if I host a tournament, we are playing Battle Cruiser.
Or if we host Battle Cruiser, we're reviving the Angels deck.
Oh, Angels is so much fun. Okay, I'm like, I've built Battle Cruisers before. Battle Cruisers, like... Okay, let enough of that tangent. I think...
I think we've beat a dead horse enough.
Yeah, alright. I think that's everything we have for the Commander format.
Yep.
This week, anyway. I'm your host, Isaiah.
I'm Chris.
We're logging out.